Hello again. We're going to look at another image from our recent dog photography workshop, see what we're going to do with this one. This is an image that is very hard to get in a lot of dog shoots. Not every dog you can get the head down. Quite often you've actually got to wait until the end of the shoot for them to be a little bit tired, so that they just do it anyway. And you get that beautiful soppy face where they're just waiting for, am I going to get another treat or can I go home now? And Indy was doing amazing at this point in the shoot. She did really, really, really fantastic. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So with this image, I'm thinking of going a little different. It's a beautiful warm tone image, and as you can see, we've got beautiful, beautiful little eyes there, looking up. So actually, I'm considering making this black and white. I think a black and white of this image really will enhance the emotion. And I really am quite excited about the idea that I can maybe play with my sculpting, with my masking, my brush a little bit more. I quite like painting in this sort of style. So first thing I'm going to do is make it black and white and strip all the colour out. And you can see that immediately we are drawn to these highlighted areas. So I'm going to bring up my brush on my mask, and I'm going to go into these areas and just tone them down even more. And because it's black and white, you don't have to worry too much about what it's going to do with the colours and with the rest of the image, because it's always going to work. Okay, so I like that. I think that looks nice. It's toned down just that a little bit. So now I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to create a brush that is going to enhance. So I'm going to just draw a little bit on the eyebrows to do a little thing. You get little red eyebrows there. And on this one, we're going to up the exposure ever so slightly. So as you can see, I can now sculpt using this brush anything that I want highlights. So I just want the ears to come highlighted. I might choose a little bit of the leg. I might want to bring up a little bit of the fur in here. Anything that I want to just have a little bit more of a glisten, I can control. And I like that. Let's turn that off and on. You can see that quite a lot has happened. So next, I'm going to do another brush, and I'm going to have a little bit lower exposure, and I'm going to use that for shadowing. So I'm going to shadow. I only ever shadow or enhance where the light already was. I don't add more lighting because it looks unnatural. If you try and change the direction of the light, try and change what's happening with the light. I'm going to actually enhance that a bit more. So I just follow with what was naturally there. Okay, perfect. So next thing I want to do is tone down the floor. I want to just go straight to Indy's beautiful eyes. So I'm going to use a linear gradient for that. I'm going to pull that down. In fact, I'll have quite a small feather. I'll bring it up. I'm going to just pull my highlights right down, and then I'm just going to ever so slightly bring down my exposure just to block out all of that harsh lighting at the front. I think that's going to look quite nice. Secondly, from that, then I am going to use a radial gradient just to pull us in from here. I'm going to invert it so it's everything but Indy's beautiful little face. And I'm going to pull that down a tiny bit, and that's going to just shadow everything. Now, I still think that's a bit bright up there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to feather this out and make this area a little bit narrower. So we're just coming to that gorgeous little face on there. And then I can play a bit more if I really want to. Lastly, I'm going to enhance the eyes. So I'm going to use a brush. I'm going to zoom in. You can see I've got a lot of masks on here now. And I'm going to just draw on the eyes a tiny bit, and just up my contrast and up my exposure a tiny bit, just to add a bit more glisten. Naturally, as soon as the dog's on the floor, that eye's not going to glisten as much as they do when they're sat up, because our lights are going to be that much higher, unless you bring your lighting down, of course. So it's one that's quite common for us to have to do in this pose, because you don't always know you're going to be getting this pose immediately. Okay, so I like that. I think that's looking lovely. Now, what I haven't done is recropped my image, which is weirdly normally the thing I do first. But I was so excited to get in and try and do a bit of light painting and stuff on this that I didn't. So first thing I'm going to do is straighten up my horizon. Wonky horizons are annoying. And I think we're going to come in. Do you know what? I'm debating cutting in that little bit so that we've got that kind of intimate kind of composition there. I kind of love that. But I do like the full body being in it. I think that's a really cute shot. So it wasn't me that took this picture. It was Rachel, my dog photographer. So I will honour her choice of composition. And I'm going to bring just over here, so we're just drawn into this face here. I think there's a lot of different ways we could decide to crop this. I said I'm going to honour it. I'm going to change it a little bit. Just lining that up. Yeah, I like that. I think that's, you almost need a muddy pair of welly boots next to them, just a little bit like, whoa, that was a long walk, looking a bit sleepy. So I'm going to up my texture a tiny little bit, only a little bit, because as you can see, if I go too far, it's really gritty. So I'm just going to up my texture a little bit just to enhance that fur. Now, I did enhance the fur already by using silver light instead of using white light or softened light. And this made sure we had all of that beautiful fur texture, but just a little bit of enhancement always helps. And finally, trusty color grading. I'm going to use the colors that naturally occurs within the dog. So first thing, reds and oranges, I'm going to be putting into my shadows, and I'm going to be putting yellow tones into my highlights, just to get a really nice rich vibe. Now, if I take the highlights luminance, go up a little bit, and take the shadows down, just adds a little bit of contrast. And do you know what? Now I've done that, I want to bring that down a little bit more. Make that a slightly narrower image. It's absolutely fine to keep making adjustments as you go along. It is not a problem. People think that you're meant to know the second you see an image exactly what you're going to do. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So I think that looks lovely. So let's have a look before, after. Very different. Sometimes you don't realise how far you've come. I absolutely love that. I think that's great. So thanks for joining me. Hope this was helpful, and see you next time.